Moments ago, CENTCOM revealing U.S. forces are hitting Iran with another round of strikes, with the U.S. blockade now in effect. And Fox News chief foreign correspondent Trey Yingst sitting down with President Trump for exclusive new details on this conflict.
The Iranians are counterattacking, launching missiles at U.S. allies and forces in the region. How many missiles do you believe the regime has left?
Well, I tell you, they have some, and so there's always a danger.
Hundreds?
But for the most part, they're being knocked down. You know, they've done
hundreds, thousands?
I don't want to say. I know. I think I know. Nobody knows an exact number. I think I know close to an exact number. They have some. They have largely spent their best ones. You know, their most impactful ones. But if you look over the last 4 or 5 days, they hit with a lot of missiles, and almost every one of them has been shot down.
Fox News chief correspondent Trey Yingst joins us now. And Trey, we've got a little bit of news here. Tell us what you know about CENTCOM saying they started a new round of strikes just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, Joey, good morning. U.S. Central Command just announced that another round of U.S. strikes are currently taking place against Iranian targets. These are the first daytime strikes that we've seen since the ceasefire went into effect, an indication that indeed these strikes are escalating. When I spoke with President Trump yesterday at the White House, he told Fox News that a variety of strikes would take place this week and escalate next week. He said he is reserving the energy targets for later in this campaign, trying to put new pressure on the Iranian regime as officials in Tehran are still unwilling to make a deal. The president did not rule out a ground component to this operation in the future, but said he wants the focus to be on Iran. And he spoke about the Israelis actually battling Iranian proxies in places like Gaza and southern Lebanon, along with Syria. I asked the president if he'd like to see Israeli forces withdraw from southern Lebanon. Do you want to see Israeli ground forces withdraw from southern Lebanon?
Well, redeploy is another word, because, you know, we're getting along very well with Lebanon. Israel is dealing with them very nicely. First time in many, many years. Lebanon has just been beaten up so badly, and they've got Hezbollah there. Southern Syria and from parts of Lebanon, yeah, it would be good to get out, I think. And I think you might see things get a little bit calmer, because we have to focus our energy on the big leagues. The big leagues are Iran.
You mentioned when we spoke on the phone during the war that Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara may be tasked with dealing with Hezbollah.
He would go in and take care of Hezbollah, and he'd do it in a different way. He wouldn't knock down buildings. I hated to see buildings knocked down.
Are you saying you believe he would be more precise than the Israelis?
I think he'd be more precise, yeah. I think, and I can tell you, I know he'd like to do it.
Does he need the green light from you?
I'm thinking about it.
Joey, this is all connected. The Iranians have a network of proxies across the region, not just in southern Lebanon, but also in places like the Gaza Strip and the Houthis in Yemen. And so the entire region in the Middle East right now is bracing for the possibility that the Iranians may try to use these proxies as this conflict escalates once again. I asked the president, is the war resuming? And he said a large-scale military operation is resuming. And that is exactly what we are seeing right now. Again, the latest news that U.S. Central Command just announced more strikes against Iranian targets. These are likely focused along the coast in cities like Bandar Abbas and other areas close to the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz. They are in direct response to the Iranians launching attacks on vessels in the Strait. Joey?
Trey, one of the questions I thought was most important you asked were about ground troops, and I think it was so important because of the way he answered it. He said something along the lines of perhaps others would do it for us, or ground troops from other countries would be the ground troops. Do you have your finger on the pulse of really what he means by that, what those countries would be? I would imagine there's not a lot of appetite from most of the Arab or Gulf countries to be on the ground in Iran, where they have nearly 1 million when you count up police force and basically their version of a National Guard, and you put it all together. Do you have any pulse on what that means?
The president was likely talking about a limited ground operation at a place like Karg Island, for example. And I actually asked the president about his comments that he posted yesterday from 1988, that he would go in and take it. And the president basically said the conditions would have to be right in the future, but he didn't rule out a ground component to all of this. He was quite measured, understanding that if U.S. forces went to Kharg Island, it would be very dangerous. Kharg Island is just about 15 miles off the coast of Iran, and certainly in range of drones and cruise missiles that the Iranians would fire at U.S. forces. And so a lot of dynamic movement here. But again, at this moment, the president appears to be putting an immense amount of pressure on the Iranian regime to try to get them back to the negotiating table. And he said, basically, you'll have to wait and see if they're willing to make a deal. And if they don't, these strikes are going to escalate.
Trey, nobody better sit down with the president on this. Thank you so much for all the hard work you're doing. Every day is a new day and also feels like Groundhog's Day on this war. Thanks, Trey.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.